Hi, folks, and welcome to another episode of the award-winning Legends of Sport podcast. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. This week's guest is Amar'e Stoudemire. He played 14 years in the NBA, a six-time All-Star, a member of the Phoenix Suns Ring of Honor, inducted into the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, and a finalist for the 2026 class of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. All of us here at Legends of Sport are rooting for him. Amar'e was so much fun to photograph. He was explosive, had great inside moves, and gave me some great dunking pics over the years. Thank you, Amar'e. Amar'e was the 9th pick in the 2002 NBA draft by the Phoenix Suns and went on to win Rookie of the Year, beating out the number 1 pick that year, the great Yao Ming. We talk about a wide range of topics during this interview. Amar'e's journey to the NBA, the great coaches and coaching legacies he played for, the exciting Phoenix Suns teams coached by the great Mike D'Antoni, who, by the way, is another Naismith Hall of Fame finalist this year. Go Mike. We discuss Amar'e's connection with Israel and his path to Judaism, his foundation, and his many interests off the court. I really enjoyed this interview with the legendary and hopefully newest Hall of Famer, Amar'e Stoudemire. I hope you will too. And as always, I'll see you on the backside. All right, my friend. Well. So good to see you. Welcome to the Legends of Sport podcast, Amar'e Stoudemire. Where are you calling in from, man, today?
I'm in Miami. I'm actually home at the moment.
Oh, okay. So Miami is home for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we have a little bit of Miami weather today. At least it's sunny. It's been raining for like 2 weeks. I'm in LA.
You're in California, right? Yeah.
I'm in LA. So, Amar'e, let's get this rolling, man. Knowing you for your whole career and doing some research, I mean, it's just a phenomenal career that you had. 14-year NBA veteran, 6-time All-Star. You're a member of the Suns Ring of Honor. You're inducted into the 2025 International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame. And big headline, finalist for the class of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's talk about that, man. What was that like when you found out that first you were nominated and then you're a finalist for the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. I'm extremely honored by it because, obviously playing in the NBA and also overseas for so long. And when you put the sport first in your life and you dedicate your life to the sport and try to be the best player you can become, and to see the appreciation feels great.
Yeah, for sure. I had the good fortune to be, I wasn't inducted because we are non-players, but the media gets the Kurt Gowdy Award. And I was only the second photographer honored with that. That was in 2018. Greatest,
nice.
Most affirming thing of my career.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. It was daunting, though, man. I had to go up and make a speech, and the first person I looked at, all of my NBA friends are there. First person I see is David Stern looking up at me. Okay, don't screw this up.
Right.
So, Amar'e, looking at your research, I found that you really loved football growing up, that you actually played football before you played basketball, or at least organized basketball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I harken back to a conversation I had with Kirk Gibson on this podcast where we talked about there was a moment of truth for Kirk. He was actually at Michigan State, and he was an All-American football player. He was a great baseball player, and he went in to talk to his coach, I think before his senior year, just to get some guidance, like which sport should I really pursue. He said, "You know what? You have a longer career in baseball that you'll have in football. Why don't you just go the baseball route?" Was there somebody in your life that sort of, I don't know, mentored you to maybe follow your path in basketball, or you just took to basketball more than you did to football at that point?
No, basketball was always my favorite sport,
Mm-hmm.
even before I started playing football.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you know, in the state of Florida, there was no organized basketball programs until the Orlando Magic became an expansion team, and they created this youth program called the Junior Magic.
Right.
And that wasn't until I was 14 years old. And so prior to that, I lived in New York. And in New York, I played football for 4 years. And so I was a very athletic player. I love sports. I played baseball my first year. And then I played football for 4 years. And then when I moved back to Florida, they had this new thing called the Junior Magic. And that's when I really was able to tap into my favorite sport, which was basketball.
Yeah, and how much did you grow, like from middle school to high school? You must
Yeah,
have.
it's funny. It's funny. When I played football, I started out playing punt returner and running back. And then my second year I played receiver.
Uh-huh.
My third year I played flanker.
All right.
And my fourth year I played defensive end. So you can see the
Yeah,
different
yeah,
positions and the amount of growth that happens throughout each year. So I
yeah.
was growing a lot throughout my youth for sure.
That's amazing. So you decided to jump to the NBA right out of high school. You had committed, right, to the University of Memphis. And, I'm also remembering a conversation I had about the great Moses Malone, who set the table for everybody coming out of high school. He had committed to University of Maryland. I don't know if you know this story, but like Lefty Drizel actually had him commit to the University of Maryland. Next thing you know, Moses is going to play for the Utah Stars in the ABA because obviously the money, but he just wanted to play professional. Um, that was a big risk for you, right? I mean, not too many guys at that point had jumped from high school to the pros. What precipitated that decision? And was there ever any hesitation once you made that decision? Did you know that that's what I wanted to do?
Well, when I was in high school, my freshman year, I knew at that time I wanted to be a pro. I wanted to go pro out of high school. And so I would tell my teammates that, hey, I'm going to transfer to Mount Zion,
Mm-hmm.
which is a school that Tracy McGrady went to. And
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady went out of high school. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to do what he did.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so I was pretty ambitious of me to think that way, but that's what I thought, and that's what I was very serious about that.
Mm-hmm.
And so from my freshman year on, I was planning for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got into my senior year, I was top of my class. I was McDonald's All American,
Mm-hmm.
Florida Mr. Basketball, and so after I verbally committed to University of Memphis, I went to the Jordan Capital Classic game.
Mm-hmm.
I got co-MVP there with Sean May,
Mm-hmm.
and then from that point on, I wanted to make it clear that I was going to go to the NBA.
Mm. Yeah, so you get picked ninth in the 2002 draft by the Suns. Were you surprised that you went ninth? I mean, I looked at that list and those first, well, after Yao, you could have gone a little higher. I mean, what do you think? Was it maybe because you were coming out of high school, or maybe people hadn't seen you play enough, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. At the time, high schoolers wasn't looked at as the premier players to draft, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that particular year, but I also trained for the Phoenix Suns, and once I trained for Phoenix, I knew I wanted to go there
Mm-hmm.
because of the city and the environment there. I wanted to play in Phoenix, and so I stopped working out for teams.
Mm-hmm. Mm,
I work, I
really?
work, I work, I worked out for Houston because it had the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
The GM at that time said if Yao Ming wasn't in this draft, we'd draft him with the first pick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked out with Denver, and I think it was one more team I worked at, Orlando, because I was from there,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Yeah.
Those are the teams I only worked out for, and I think that's why I dropped to ninth
Yeah.
because I didn't train or work out with other teams.
Yeah, but it was just like kismet, man. I mean, you fit into that Phoenix offense, especially, but just living there in Phoenix, becoming a fixture in Phoenix. They loved you there. They still love you there, of course. You know that. So let's talk about that 2006 to 7 Phoenix Suns team, man. I mean, that was one of the greatest teams I'd ever seen in my 40 plus years in the NBA. 61 and 21, first in the West. Um, you were coached by the great Mike D'Antoni, who, by the way, is also a finalist for this year's Hall of Fame, one of my dear
Right,
friends.
right.
I mean, that team was absolutely loaded with you and Steve Nash and Sean Marion and Boris Diaw and Raja. I mean, what a squad that was. How much fun was it to play in that offense, that 7 seconds or less offense?
I mean, it was brilliant. I mean, honestly, we had so much of a good time, and we didn't quite know how much success we were going to have. We
Yeah.
all trained with the mindset of trying to win a championship that off season, going into that 05, 06 season or 6, 07 season, I think it was.
Yeah.
We were training that summer to compete for a championship.
Hmm.
And so when we showed up to training camp, everyone was already in top shape.
Mm-hmm.
We always dedicated and focused. And then once the season started, we got off to a great start, and we just did not stop.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing lights out basketball. The tempo, no one could keep up with this.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing somewhat out of position. I was playing the five. Sean Mary's playing the four.
Right.
Guys couldn't guard us. Steve Nash was brilliant with the passing skills. We had open shots from Roger, and these guys are knocking down open threes. And so we had a complete team that year for sure.
Mm-hmm. And you guys went on and beat the Lakers in a great playoff series, but you beat them 4-1. I mean, you just kind of destroyed them. Raja, one of the Kobe's, in our book, Kobe talked about Raja being one, excuse me, one of the top three defenders that he had to ever play against. Um, Everything was coming together. Of course, you guys lost to the Spurs that year, 4-2. But I got to go back to the training camp, 2006-07 training camp, where the Suns went to Treviso, Italy, right? Where Mike D'Antoni literally is like a god. I mean, I think there's a statue to Mike in the middle of like the town square. He played there. The reception there was unbelievable. Then you guys played games in Rome. What do you remember about that training camp? We were in Venice. Remember going up
Oh
and down the
yeah,
canals? I mean, it was such a bonding experience. I felt that for you guys, but I felt such a part of the family there. And of course, there was a new ownership group at that time, so everybody was
right.
fresh at that moment.
Absolutely. It was an amazing training camp for us because we got a chance to take our skills overseas to Italy.
Yeah,
And we got a chance to experience where Mike D'Antoni's from and where he played most of his career there.
yeah,
And to see his legacy that he built in Italy was great to see.
yeah,
And for us as players here in America, it was great to get out of the country and really experience wine country in Treviso.
yeah.
We went and watched AC Milan play a soccer match there
Mhm.
because Nash is big in the sport of soccer. We were able to really experience Rome. For me being a historian, it was brilliant for me to be there and just kind of soak in the historical moments that happened there.
Yep.
So and then playing basketball and being able to show our skills abroad was great for us.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the fringe benefits of working for the NBA for so long and playing for the NBA in the NBA that you get to go to these unbelievable locations and you probably maybe would never go, but the love that the NBA had continues to have across the world is unbelievable. I got to ask you about playing with Shaq. I guess you played with him 2007 to 8 season when he went to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And it's no secret you idolized him growing up, your hometown of Orlando. What was it like playing with the big fella? I mean, I spent a lot of time with him and, we could share stories forever, but to be on the court playing with him at that point, what was that like for you?
That was a dream come true for me, right? Because I grew up in Orlando, Florida, watching Shaq and Penny
Hmm.
after Mike Jordan had retired, and then Shaq and Penny became the new two greatest, young players in the game at that time, right? And so to
Yeah.
watch Shaq during that time ripping down backboards and all these things we have never seen before
Right.
was amazing for me as a young kid to see.
Yeah.
And then we fast forward to the year when we signed Shaq and he came to play with us in Phoenix.
Hmm.
It was great to have him aboard with us, right? Because not only am I playing with one of my favorite players of all time, but I get a chance to pick his mind about his basketball knowledge and
Yeah.
even off the court knowledge, what it takes for like financial literacy and from a business perspective and these things. As a young player, it was helpful for me to learn from Shaq. So it was a great opportunity for me to play with Shaq, and I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I went out there quite a few times that season to photograph you guys, and it was kind of weird to see the big fella in the Suns uniform. I got to tell you, but but he's still him. I mean, most dominant ever. I mean, it didn't matter,
Yeah,
how many extra pounds he might have put on or how many more years he had. I mean, he was just the big fella. Amar, you played for some great coaches. There's some great coaching lineage in your NBA history. Of course, you played for Mike D'Antoni in Phoenix and in New York, right?
correct.
And then Derek Fisher, when you played under Derek Fisher in New York, Phil Jackson, the Zen master was in the front office. And then you go to
Right,
Miami and you're playing for Eric Spoelstra with the Godfather, Pat Riley in the front office, right? Of course, can't leave
correct.
out Larry Brown, I guess with the Olympic team, right?
Right.
Um, I mean, that's an incredible group of coaches and I guess coaching mentors. How much of that did that rub off on you? Like, did Phil Jackson? I mean, I don't really know this story. Did Phil Jackson like show up at practice every once in a while, or did Pat come down and be like kind of coaching Eric a little bit? Because Eric was at the beginning of his coaching journey then. What was that like?
Oh yeah, in New York with Phil Jackson, he would definitely show up. He would come down to the courts and he would be in there for training camp and
Mhm.
sit with us and talk to us about basketball and about the triangle offense and what it takes to be great at these different things. And
Mhm.
different point of views that he gave us was great for us to learn.
Yeah.
Right, as
Yeah.
a student of the game, it was great for me to learn from Phil Jackson,
Sure.
being that he coached some of the greatest players of all time,
Right.
the
And
greatest player of all time with Michael Jordan.
right. And you had competed directly against him, obviously, when you were
Right.
with the Suns and he was coaching the Lakers. So there had to be a lot of backstory going on there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so I was the type of player who wanted to just pick his brain. I was almost like a flea, just always asking him questions and just want to
Yeah.
hear him talk and just be around him.
Yeah.
And that was great for me. And also in Miami with the Godfather Pat Riley,
Hmm.
from what the accomplishments that he accomplished throughout his career
Hmm.
and the players he coached and the things that he's done throughout his career. For me to be there and to see him and speak to him and
Hmm.
develop a friendship was great for me as well.
Yeah, what a great man. They're putting a statue of him in front of Crypto.com Arena, and rightly so. Love that guy. He was the first guy who welcomed me into sort of the inner sanctum, of first the huddle, then the locker room, then traveling with the guys way back in Showtime. So Amar, you retired as a Knick after what in 2016. Why was it important for you to retire as a Knick? I mean, I'm just curious because you could have retired as a Sun, but why the Knicks?
Well, I wanted to go back to Phoenix.
Oh,
To
okay.
be honest with you,
Yeah.
before I went overseas to play, and then even after I won my championship overseas,
Uh-huh.
I actually approached the GM at the time, James Jones, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Hey, I got a few more years left of high level basketball. I would love to sign a minimum contract with you guys and so want to be a player leader,
Mhm.
similar to what other veteran guys are doing around the NBA."
Mhm.
And he declined that
Mhm.
and said, "No, we'll keep our coaching staff as the leadership." And
Mhm.
I was like, all right, no problem. I felt a little bit taken back by it.
Mhm.
And so that's when I went ahead and decided to retire as a Knick.
Oh, okay. I got you. So we got to talk about your connection with Israel because it's fascinating to me. If you went over to play for it, now correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Hapoel Jerusalem. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Very good. In the Israeli Premier League, right? And were you also a co-owner with Arn Tellem at that time and playing at the same time, or how did that work?
Correct.
Yeah.
So I became part owner of the team the previous year.
Uh-huh.
And when I decided to play for the team, I actually sold my shares
Uh,
so that way I'm able to play for the team.
so an owner can't play, I guess. I guess that's how it works.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Arn Tellem, by the way, one of the great people in our business by far. I met him. He was Kobe's first agent. Uh,
Yeah.
we became friends then. Um, so you win the Israeli Basketball League Cup in 2016 and the Israeli Basketball Super League in 2017. You went over just briefly to play in China. Then you came back to Israel, right? Um,
Correct.
what was that experience like coming back to Israel? What was the reception like from the fans and everyone that followed you?
It was incredible. The thing for me is I'm all about really being able to experience life
Hmm.
and also continue to play basketball at a high level.
Hmm.
As long as my health is there and I'm able to compete at a high level, then I got to continue to play. Right? I
Hmm.
feel like it was just I have to continue to play.
Yeah.
And so I went to China for a few months there. It was great. I had a great time, but it wasn't my kind of town. And
Mm-hmm.
so then I went back to Israel where I felt more comfortable and I was able to play with Maccabi Tel Aviv,
Hmm.
and the reception was amazing. All the fans are always very, appreciative of me playing there, and
Hmm.
and so for me to be there and to be able to learn and play
Hmm.
was a great combination for myself.
For sure. I mean, Maccabi Tel Aviv, had tremendous history. Of course, Alcy Perry, American, African American, goes over there to play. wins 2 EuroLeague championships in the 70s. He converted to Judaism and became an Israeli citizen, which was your path as well. How much of his story influenced your story?
It's funny. I heard about O.C. Perry after my story started to
Really
take place. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
interesting. Okay.
And so, it's funny because when I got to Tel Aviv,
Hmm.
everyone asked me, "Hey, you know O.C. Perry?" Because the older generation
Right.
followed him, and he was the guy before I got there. And
Yeah.
so, to hear his legacy and to see that another gentleman like myself follow his footsteps without even knowing of
Yeah.
his footsteps was good.
Yeah. So let's talk about you and your personal story in Israel and your pathway to Judaism. Um, First of all, what brought you to Israel, and was Judaism part of that? Your sort of history and wanting to find out about your history and what your path might be, or like talk about that because I'm not clear on how all that came about.
Yeah, it was Judaism wasn't really. Um, I didn't know about Judaism when I was a kid growing up,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
My mother was more so was raised Christian, and my mother spoke to me and she said, "Hey, well, we got to keep these laws of Moses, and we're from the lost tribes of Israel."
Mm.
And I was like, "Well, it made sense to me anyways." I was always focused on keeping the Ten Commandments as a Christian kid and
Mhm.
these things, and I was always spiritually inclined.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, no problem." As I got a little bit older, I wanted to find out who's actually trying to keep these laws that my mom is speaking of. And so from that point, I gravitated to the Israelite community because they were more so speaking about keeping the laws and Shabbat and these things. I'm like, well, this is kind of what I've been trying to figure out. Not until I met a rabbi. Actually, I traveled to Israel before that to learn about what I've been learning, to see what I've been learning. And when I got back from Israel, I met a rabbi, and the rabbi reached out to me and said, "Hey, my grandfather lineage has been searching the lost tribes of Israel, and what you're saying is correct. I would love to learn with you." And so at the time, I was training in Houston with Akeem Olajuwon,
Hmm.
and I was there with my study partners, and the rabbi flew in with two of his study partners, and we sat down and learned for 5 or 6 hours. And I was like, "This
Mm.
is what I've been looking for ever since my mother mentioned this to me as a kid. I found it."
That's
And
beautiful. Yeah.
so, that's how it came about.
Amazing. I mean, what a beautiful story, man. Um, so you converted to Judaism in what 2018? Well, you started it in 2018. You completed it in 2020, and then you got residency. You gained residency in Israel in 2019. Um, so do you go back and forth between the U.S. and Israel? You spend a lot of time over there still, or what?
Yeah, I go back and forth. I go
Yeah.
back to yeshiva. I go back to yeshiva and I learn. Right? I
Hmm.
go and learn. I go and learn for months at a time,
Yeah.
just to keep up my learning process and keep that going.
Hmm.
And then I come back to the States. One thing I do like about being in Israel is that I'm able to eat kosher food everywhere I go. And I feel as like one of the guys everywhere I
Yeah.
go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I always go back and forth.
Yeah. Do you know Tamir Goodman, by the way? Have you met him? They called him the Jewish Jordan at one point. Wonderful guy, and I just was at an event with him last week during All Star Weekend, and um, Tamir is an ambassador as I am with Project Max. I think you met. Well, I know you met the founder Eric Rubin. You both spoke at the Knesset in 2024. Project Max's mission really is to fight racism, anti-Semitism, and intolerance through sports. So there are many ambassadors across the board of sports. Former NBA players, NFL players, some people in baseball, what have you. Myself, who never played the game but was around the game. Um, Amar'e, how important in this day and age, man, is it for you personally to be speaking out against anti-Semitism?
Well, I think it's important just to speak out about what it takes to be have love and kindness, right? Because if you think about it, everyone has their own beliefs and their path and their journey in life,
Hmm.
whether they're right or wrong. Everyone's trying to do what's right. Everyone has to inside of them. They should have the right connotation of wanting to be a better person.
Hmm.
And so for me, giving over that information about just having respect for one another, regardless whether you are the same or in difference, you
Mhm.
still should have respect and speak peace and love to each other. And I think that would be the cure to all the shenanigans that's going on today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally know what you're saying, and I hope, you speaking out and Project Max and all of us who just want to see the world take a big deep breath and start loving each other again. You know,
Correct.
I hope that
Exactly.
happens, man. Um,
Exactly.
Hey, can you talk a little bit about your foundation and the mission of your foundation, what you're working on right now? I think our listeners would love to know that.
So the Amar'e Stoudemire Foundation, as you know, was created back when I was 21 years old. Right, it's 2004,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
we've been set out to cure poverty through education.
Yeah.
Right, and so
Uh-huh.
as you see, my personal journey took upon its education route by graduating from University of Miami with my master's, and also giving that education over to the children, whether it's teaching Torah, whether it's teaching food and nutrition. And now we're giving over more information through the foundation, teaching a online
Hmm.
curriculum called the ESA program, where we're founding young educators, positive leaders to help teach this school curriculum to the children. So that's where we are now. The foundation is based upon education, and
Hmm.
we're going after it.
Yeah, I mean, you got the NBA Community Assist Award way back in 2008, still going strong. You have so many other interests. I mean, I have a laundry list here, but the one that really sticks out for me is your acting career, right? I mean, I, I mean, seriously, though, I saw the list of credits. It's pretty impressive. I haven't seen KG in the movie recently with Adam Sandler, Precious Gems, I think it was.
Yeah, you know what? One thing about that film,
Yeah.
that was my film. That was my film.
No,
So
come
the
on.
so the guys, the Safdie brothers are my guys, and we sat down for years
Uh,
speaking about the role before we hired Adam Sandler
uh,
and all these things. But at that time, I was in a spiritual Nazareth vow, so I wasn't able to cut my locks at the time,
oh,
and they needed me to look in the same imagery as I looked when I played with the Knicks in 2010,
yeah, yeah,
and we couldn't make it happen. So that's
interesting.
why they went and got Kevin
Yeah,
Kevin Garnett to play that role instead of me.
yeah. That's I didn't know that story. Thanks for sharing that. Do you still have the itch? Are you still doing any acting? You still pursuing it? I mean, you got a lot going on, but what about the acting bug?
Yeah, I still will. I mean, if I get a couple of some phone calls here and there about some roles and things like that, I will definitely touch up on that again.
Yeah,
Acting is always a passion of mine. I still have passion for it.
yeah.
It's a matter of the right timing, the right role.
Yeah, sure. And I know that you're a huge art collector. You're one of the former NBA guys that really has an impressive collection. I mean, Grant Hill being another one. Um, what kind of art are you gravitating towards these days?
I like the contemporary art.
Mhm.
And my favorite stroke of painting is the European stroke, right? So I look at like the old masters and I try to find artists that are emerging that has that similar old masters type of stroke when it comes to art.
Mhm.
And so that's what I'm looking for now. And I'm just kind of taking my time to find the right person.
Yeah, very cool, man. And then winery, you still doing the winery in Israel? You still producing some wine? Yeah.
Yeah, starting my wines is still going. Actually, we just released the Chenin Blanc 2 weeks ago.
Man,
So
I got to get part of that. I mean, my wife's Argentinian, so she's, loves Malbec.
oh yeah,
That's
absolutely,
at some point we got to exchange wine bottles.
for sure.
So Mari, I can't leave you with, or you can't leave us without a great story about the Mamba, about Kobe. It's crazy, man. We're coming up to 10 years since his last game, which I truly can't believe it's been 10 years. April 13th, 2016. You played against him, you competed against him, you knew him. Is there a story, and it's okay if you told it elsewhere, but I haven't heard it about him that just sticks with you?
Well, I think one story that sticks with me the most for Kobe is that competing against Kobe, right? I mean, obviously we're trying to win a championship. They're trying to win a championship.
Yeah.
And when he first started doing the sound of the snake, I'm like, what is he doing? It's because he calling for the ball. I'm like, Cole, what is that? He's like, this is my new thing, because he was so focused on the sport. But I tell you what I took from Kobe, right, is that Kobe wasn't just a simple basketball player.
Yeah.
How a lot of times in the stigma of basketball players, okay, we only play basketball. We're not educated and all these type of things, the stigma that was taking place previously in the previous years. Kobe basically personified excellence in every aspect, whether it's the multiple languages, whether it's the professionalism, whether the way he carried himself on the basketball court. And as a player watching Kobe, he had a different mindset. The guy was just a total different type of thinking person, right? And to be around Kobe, to soak that up from him, helped me become more professional in my space, whether it's on the court or off the court. So yeah, we're definitely gonna miss Kobe, man, big time.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, those battles between the Suns and Lakers are just epic. Epic battles out there, man.
Well, they couldn't stop me. So I remember Cole telling Powell,
I
hey, do
know.
something with Stoudemire, man. We got
Powell's like, what am I going to do with this guy? Yeah. Did you and Kobe ever get in a conversation about jumping from high school to the pros? I mean, he did it before you, obviously, but was there ever a moment you guys talked about that?
We didn't. We
Yeah.
didn't. And we probably should have. I think there's only a small group of guys who made that jump from high school to the pros.
Yeah.
And me being the first one to get Rookie of the Year, and then LeBron also was a guy came after me to get Rookie of the Year. But there's a small fraternity of guys who actually went from prep to pro.
Yeah, let's not forget about that Rookie of the Year, because Yao Ming drafted first in that class, and you winning Rookie of the Year. He had a great year his rookie year, obviously, but
oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I think Yao was an All-Star that year, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah. I mean, Yao. Too bad his career was cut short from injury, but one of the most tremendous people in the world that I ever met. But he was just unstoppable. I mean, he and Shaq going at it was like
that was fun to watch.
It was two Godzillas going at it, man. It was crazy watching those guys. You know the story about Shaq trying to bait him like his rookie year, and bait him and trash talk, and Yao would never react. You know the story? They get to like the end of the season, and finally something happened, and Yao turns around and he goes, "Hey, nice shot." To Shaq, and Shaq goes, "You speak English? I've been trying to get under your skin all year, man." Classic for both.
Man, that's funny. Classic.
Amar'e, listen, man, I wish you all the best with all your endeavors, your foundation, everything you're doing. But most of all, sending you good vibes here from the Legends of Sport podcast, and me personally. I would love to see you up there on stage in Springfield in August as a new enshrinee into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's out of our hands, but I hope that happens for you, man. You more than well deserve it. And thank you for being in front of my camera and giving me some great pictures over the years. We're going to put some in this podcast, and it was so much fun going back and reliving those great days. So thanks, man.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, Amar'e. Hope to see you soon, man. Take care.
For sure. Later.
This was a great conversation with the legendary Amar'e Stoudemire. Thanks to him for taking the time and for all the great photos he helped me to create during his playing days. All of us here at Legends of Sport are hopeful Amar'e is standing at the podium during the upcoming Hall of Fame festivities as one of its newest enshrinees. Big thanks to my longtime friend Bill Sanders and Amar'e's team for helping to make this episode possible. Thanks also to our editors Sean Gosser and Addison Shao. And thanks everyone for joining us for this episode of the podcast. You know how thankful we are to all of you, our loyal followers. Please tell all your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legends of Sport, and, of course, our Instagram, @Legends of Sport, and my Instagram, @ADBPhotoInc. Folks, please check out the discount link in our social media to our friends at Muggsy. We absolutely love Muggsy's clothes, and you will too. And the discount link to our friends at You Should, the best way you should protect your skin for work, play, and everyday life. Thanks again, folks. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Legends of Sport podcast.